Long ago, in the bustling village of Umu-Aku, there lived a young man named Obinna. Now, every village has that one person whose name enters every conversation even when he is not present. If a goat disappeared, check Obinna's side first. If somebody overslept, that boy is becoming like Obinna. If rain fell unexpectedly, even the clouds are copying Obinna's laziness. They came without warning. Obinna was famous. Not because he was rich. Not because he was wise. Not because he was handsome. He was famous because he had mastered the difficult art of doing absolutely nothing. The elders nicknamed him NFA. No future ambition. At first, it was a joke. Later, it became his title. Children didn't even know his real name. They would point and say, "Look, NFA is coming." And Obinna would proudly wave. "Yes, that's me." As if they were calling him a chief. Every morning, while the village woke before sunrise, Obinna remained asleep. Farmers headed to their farms. Blacksmiths opened their workshops. Women carried baskets to the market. Fishermen prepared their nets. Meanwhile, Obinna would still be lying on a bamboo bed. Sometimes he slept so long that even the chickens became confused. One morning a rooster climbed onto his window. Cock-a-doodle-doo. No movement. The rooster crowed again. Nothing. The rooster looked around. Then muttered, "I have announced this morning 3 times already. If he misses it, that is his business." And flew away. The funny thing was that Obinna loved wealth. He talked about money every day. He simply hated work. Whenever villagers gathered under the mango tree, he would begin. "One day I will become richer than everyone here." The villagers would ask, "Doing what?" "I haven't decided yet." "Farming?" "No." "Trading?" "No." "Fishing?" "No." "Blacksmithing?" "Too stressful." "Then how?" Obinna would smile. "God will provide." Old Papa is nearly swallowed his chewing stick. Even God expects you to move your legs before he blesses them. But Obinna never listened. One year Obinna announced he had discovered a secret business. The whole village gathered. Finally, the lazy man wanted to walk. He climbed onto a large stone. "My people," the villagers listened, "I have discovered a way to become rich without doing anything." Everybody frowned. That already sounded suspicious. Obinna continued, "I have bought 10 coconuts." The crowd nodded. "Good. I shall lock them inside my room." The crowd became confused. Then, in 6 months they will multiply. Silence. Even the wind stopped blowing. An old woman blinked. "Multiply." "Yes. Like goats." "Exactly." The woman nearly fainted. Since when did coconuts start giving birth? Obinna folded his arms confidently. "Everything is possible." 6 months later he opened the room. The villagers followed him. Inside were the same 10 coconuts. Only now they were rotten. One had mold growing on it. Another looked like it had surrendered to life. The villagers laughed so hard that 2 men fell into a ditch. For weeks children sang, "Coconut father. Coconut mother. Where are the coconut children?" Around that same time another young man named Chak returned from a neighboring village. Chak was the complete opposite of Obinna. Hardworking. Focused. Disciplined. While Obinna slept until noon, Chak was already halfway through his day's work. Within a few years Chak built a beautiful house. Bought farmland. Started a trading business. Owned goats. Owned sheep. Owned cows. owned things that even their owners had forgotten about. The village admired him. Obinna hated it. Not Chike. Just his success. One evening Obinna confronted him. "Tell me your secret." Chike smiled. "Work." "No. The real secret." "Work." "No. The hidden secret." "Work." "No. The spiritual secret." "Work." Obinna shook his head. "This man doesn't trust me enough to reveal his formula." Determined to discover Chike's secret, Obinna began spying. One morning he hid behind a bush. He watched Chike farming. Dig. 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 By sunset Chike was still working. Obinna became confused. There must be magic somewhere. The next day he sneaked into Chike's farm. His eyes landed on a hoe. "Aha!" he shouted. "The magic tool." He stole it. For 2 weeks Obinna waited. Nothing happened. No money appeared. No crops appeared. No miracles appeared. Finally he visited Chike. "Your hoe is defective." "My what?" "The magic hoe." Chike stared. "You stole my hoe?" "Yes." "And expected it to make you rich?" "Obviously." The entire village laughed for 3 days. One year the village chief announced a competition. Whoever made the greatest progress in business or farming would receive a large reward. Everybody got excited. Even Obinna entered. Nobody knew why. Not even Obinna. For months people worked hard. They planted crops, expanded businesses, learned new skills, saved money, improved themselves. Obinna spent those same months discussing success. He held meetings about success. He analyzed success. He criticized successful people. He gave speeches about future success. He even created a title for himself: Chairman of Future Prosperity. The only thing he never did was actual work. Competition day arrived. The chief called everyone forward. People displayed harvest, businesses, achievements, innovations. Then came Obinna. "What have you achieved?" the chief asked. Obinna smiled proudly. "My plans." "What plans?" "Future plans." The chief waited. The villagers waited. A goat waited. Finally the chief asked, "Did you bring any achievement?" "No." "Any harvest?" "No." "Any business?" "No." "Any progress?" "No." "Then why are you here?" Obinna smiled. "I came in faith." The chief nearly removed his crown. One afternoon Obinna was sleeping under a tree. Beside him sat his only possession, a stubborn goat. The goat belonged to him because nobody else wanted it. The animal was almost as lazy as its owner. Suddenly the goat stood up, walked away, and entered another man's farm. Before Obinna woke up, the goat had eaten vegetables worth weeks of labor. The farmer dragged the goat back. Furious. "Control your animal," Obinna complained. "Why blame me?" The goat made its own decision. The farmer pointed at him. "That goat learned laziness from you." The villagers laughed again. Years passed. One by one Obinna's friends became successful. Some became traders. Some became craftsmen. Some became respected farmers. Even people younger than him surpassed him. For the first time in his life, Obinna felt uncomfortable. Not because people mocked him. He was used to that. But because he realized something. The same people who started with nothing had moved forward. He had remained exactly where he started. One evening he sat alone, The village square was quiet. An old man named Papa is approached. The same elder who had advised him for years. Obinna. Yes, Papa. Do you know the difference between a dream and a plan? No. A dream remains in your head. And a plan walks on your feet. Obinna became silent. The old man continued. Your problem was never lack of opportunity. It wasn't. No. Then what was it? You wanted the reward without the sacrifice. Those words hit harder than a falling palm tree. The next morning something unbelievable happened. The village woke up. Obinna was already awake. People thought they were dreaming. A woman rubbed her eyes. A child screamed. A man checked if it was still the same Obinna. Then the impossible happened. Obinna went to a farm. And worked. For the first hour everybody watched. By the second hour people placed bets. By the third hour some villagers came to see whether a spirit had possessed him. But Obinna kept working. The transformation was slow. Painful. Embarrassing. He made mistakes. Many mistakes. But he learned. And kept learning. Months became years. Years became progress. Progress became success. Eventually he owned a thriving farm. Then a trading business. Then more farmland. Then employees. Then respect. The same villagers who once mocked him now admired him. One day a young boy approached. Sir Obinna. Yes. I want to be rich without working. The old Obinna smiled. Then laughed so hard tears rolled down his face. Finally he replied. My son, sit down. The boy sat. I once believed the same thing. What happened? I spent years waiting for success. And success never arrived. Why? Because success does not travel. The boy looked confused. What do you mean? Obinna pointed to the road. If you want to meet success, you must walk toward it. Years later, during a village celebration, the chief stood before everyone. He pointed at Obinna. Do you know why his story is important? The crowd listened. Because he teaches us something. What? The chief smiled. A person with no money can still succeed. A person with no connections can still succeed. A person with little education can still succeed. But a person with no future ambition has already built a prison around himself. The crowd applauded. And from that day onward, whenever any child became lazy, the elders would warn. Be careful. Or what? You will become NFA. The children would immediately run back to work. Because nobody wanted to become famous for doing nothing. And everyone learned the lesson. Dreams are free. Plans are cheap. Talk is easy. But only action turns tomorrow into reality. Moral of the story. The future does not belong to the people who merely wish for success. It belongs to those who wake up, work hard, learn from mistakes, and keep moving forward. Ambition without action is like planting nothing and expecting a harvest.